The photograph by Ruskin Bond. I was 10 years old. My grandmother sat on the string bed under the mango tree. It was a late summer and there were sunflowers in the garden and a warm wind in the trees. My grandmother was knitting a woolen scarf for the winter months. She was very old, dressed in a plain white sari. Her eyes were not very strong now, but her fingers moved quickly with needles, and the needles kept clanging all the afternoon. Grandmother had a white hair, but there were very few wrinkles on her skin. I had come home after playing a cricket match on the Maidan. I had taken my meal and now I was rummaging in a box of old books and family heirlooms that had just been brought up of attic by my mother. Nothing in the box interested me very much, except for a book with the colorful pictures of birds and butterflies. I was going through the book, looking at the pictures, when I found the small photograph between the pages. It was a faded picture, like a yellow and foggy. It was a picture of a girl standing against a wall, and behind the wall there was nothing but sky. But from the other side a pair of hands reached up, as though someone was going to climb the wall. There were flowers growing near the girl, but I couldn't tell what they were. There was a creeper too, but it was just a creeper. I ran out in the garden. "Granny," I shouted, "look at this picture I found in the box of old things. Whose picture is it?" I jumped on the bed beside my grandmother, and she followed me on the bottom and said, Now I have lost my count of my stitches, and next time you will do that, I'll make you finish the scarf yourself." Granny was always threatening me to teach me how to knit, which I thought was a disgraceful thing for a boy to do. Once I had torn the drawing room curtains, and Granny had put a needle and thread in my hand and made me stitch the curtain together, even though I made long 2 stitches, which had to be taken out by mother and done again. She took the photograph from my hand and we both stared at for a quite long time. The girl had long, loose hair. She wore a long dress that nearly covered her ankles and the sleeves that reached her wrist. And there were a lot of bangles on her hand. But despite all of this drapery, the girl appeared to be full of freedom and movement. She stood with her legs apart and her hands on her hips. She had a wide and almost devilish smile on her face. "Whose picture is it?" I asked. "A little girl, of course," said grandmother. "Can't you tell?" "Yes, but did you know the girl?" "Yes, I knew her," said Granny. "But she was a very wicked girl. I shouldn't tell you about her, but I tell you about the photograph. It was taken in your grandfather's house about 60 years ago, and the garden wall. And over the wall there was a road going to the town." "Whose hands are they?" I asked, coming from the other side. Grandmother squinted and looked closely at the picture and shook her head. "It's the first time I noticed," she said. "That must have been the swiper's boy. Or maybe they were your grandfather's." "They don't look like grandfather hands," I said. "His hands are all the bony." "Yes, but this was 60 years ago." "Didn't he climb up the wall after the photo?" No, nobody climbed up. At least, I don't remember. And you remembered well, Granny? Yes, I remember. What is not in the photograph? It was a spring day and there was a cool breeze blowing. Nothing like this. Those flowers at the girl's feet, they were marigold and bougainvillea creeper. It was a mass of purple. You cannot see these colors in the photo, and even if you could, as nowadays, you would not able to smell the flowers or feel the breeze. And what's about the girl? I said. Tell me about the girl. Well, she was a wicked girl, said Granny. You don't know the trouble they had getting into her house and those fine clothes she's wearing. I think they are terrible clothes, I said. So did she. Most of the time she hardly wore a thing. She used to go swimming in a muddy pool with the Rufflin boys and rides back on the buffaloes, and no boy ever teased her, though, because she could kick and scratch and pull his hair out. She looks like two, I said. You can't tell by the way she's smiling. At any moment something's going to happen. Something did happen, said Granny. Her mother wouldn't tell to take her clothes off afterwards, so she went swimming in them and lay for half an hour in the mud. I laughed heartily, and grandmother laughed too. Who was the girl? I said. You must tell me who she was. No, that wouldn't do, said the grandma. I won't tell you. I knew the girl in the photo was really grandmother, but I pretended. I did not know. I knew because the grandmother still smiled in the same way, even though she did not have as many teeth. Come on, Granny, said me. Just tell me, na. Tell me. But grandmother shook her head and carried on with knitting. And I held the photograph in my hand, looking to it from my grandmother's and back again, trying to find the points in common between the old lady and the little pigtails. A lemon-colored butterfly settled on the end of grandmother's knitting needle and stayed there for a while. The needles clicked away. I made her grab up the butterfly and it flew off in the dipping flight and settled on a sunflower. I wonder whose hand they were, whispered grandmother to herself, with her head bowed and her needles clicking in a soft warm silence of that summer afternoon.